I'm Erik Holland. I'm the Curator of Education with the State Historical Society of North Dakota. I've worked here for about 10 years, but I started my career with the State Historical Society of North Dakota in the 1970s. I was trained as an archaeologist, and my first job with the society was to run Fort Clark State Historic Site, which was an archaeological site, still is. 95 acres where the Mandans lived in the 1830s. And there was a fur trading fort there. That's why it's called Fort Clark. But some people call it Metutahankush, which means eastern or downstream village in Mandan. That's their name for the village. It's an important village because in 1837, smallpox was on board the steamboat that was bringing supply upstream, and the Mandans were nearly annihilated from that village. Went from 2,000 to less than 200 in 4 months. So you think of a population change like that. And what happens to permanent structures, earth lodges, when they're depopulated? The following spring, the Arikara, another group of people living in earth lodges downstream a little further, who were feeling pressure from the south, moved into a basically abandoned Mandan village next to a fur trading fort and lived there until 1860. So pretty interesting historic site because you've got these perspectives of different native cultures living in the same place, interacting with the Europeans, of a whole change in time from pre-steamboat to the Industrial Revolution in the 1860s, and the military coming onto the plains and the changing of life in North Dakota moving on, So it's an important place. It's the center of my universe. Still is. And I lived there for 9 years and talked with people in the middle of the night. Native peoples would come and honk their horns at the gate. My job was to protect the site. Gates are locked at night. What do you do when you're a site manager and somebody's honking a horn at your gate? You go and call the cops and send them away, or do you go out and see what the story is? And if it's 5 Mandan elder women coming out to pray before sunup, you open the gate. So I lived through a bunch of that kind of interaction as an adult in my first career. And after 8 or 9 years, the Historical Society decided that they couldn't afford to keep me on the site, and so then I moved to Knife River Indian Village's National Historic Site and interpreted for them for 6 years. So 16 years of work talking about the agriculturally based people on the Missouri Trench in North Dakota is kind of where I come from and why I am who I am.